introduce David Watson and Peter Hehir from Rozelle against Westconnex.
Good evening, and thank you very much for coming along here tonight. My name's Peter Hehir, I'm the convener of RAW. We got woken up about 9 months ago when we saw the article that appeared on the front page of the Sydney Morning Herald, which showed what was proposed in the Rozelle goods yards, which are just probably 50-60 metres from where I live. The effect on the community was pretty galvanising, actually. It was quite remarkable. There were people with copies of the newspaper out in the streets talking to each other, people who didn't even know the people who lived across the road or 5 doors down. All of a sudden were heavily engaged in conversation. So it really galvanised our community. And as a result of that, RAW was born. RAW stands for Rozelle against Westconnex. Obviously, the impact that Westconnex is likely to have on Rozelle is quite horrendous. There's no doubt about that. The interchange that was proposed, I think, in its first iteration was something like about 16 odd access ramps and flyovers, about 16 kilometres in total, which would have just turned Rozelle into a total sort of traffic nightmare. That's, according to there, has now been pushed underground, but of course out of sight simply doesn't mean out of mind. Obviously you've heard speakers earlier this evening talk about why Westconnex is perhaps the biggest disaster to ever hit Sydney. I totally concur with that. I also agree that the concept of thinking globally in the Sydney sense and acting locally is a very good one. RAW's membership is comprised of about 400 people at the moment. Those are adults, obviously there are children who are affected as well. We exist principally as an old school email type network, if you like. Emails are sent out basically on a weekly, couple of times a week. We try and alert people to the latest event that's happening in relation to Westconnex. We don't exist on Facebook, we don't have a social kind of media format. But the things that concern us, or concern me principally, is the fact that Westconnex simply isn't going to work. Not only is it not going to work, it's actually going to achieve exactly the opposite of its stated aims. It is in fact going to make Sydney's traffic situation so much worse. I can envisage a traffic jam that starts in Chatswood and ends at the Gladesville Bridge. I can see extended peak hours, a situation where cars will be sitting there in the tunnels, on Victoria Road, on the City West Link, at Anzac Bridge, at the Iron Code Bridge, spewing out tons and tons of unfiltered pollution, which is going to rain like a cancerous fog all over the inner west. And certainly areas like White Bay, which is already considered to be one of the most heavily polluted areas in Sydney, the dose there is just going to be up 10-fold, 100-fold. It's a shocking concept, clearly. So we have health concerns, obviously. We've got concerns about the fact that it isn't going to work. The tolls, I think, are inequitable. Claire Hardy, she calls herself a journalist. She scribbles for the Daily Telegraph. She's under the impression that there are no pensioners living in the inner west. There are no tradespeople living in the inner west. There are no manicurists, because her manicurist comes from the western suburbs. There are no hairdressers. In fact, the inner west is comprised principally of selfish, extremely wealthy, white-collar individuals who care not a jot for the rest of Sydney. Now, I don't think that's anywhere near the truth, and I'm pretty confident that you all agree with me. It's bizarre, that kind of concept. It beggars belief. So I think the reasons that we object to it principally are that it won't work, that it will make the situation worse, that the poisonous pollution is going to prematurely end our lives. The tolls are iniquitous. I mean, essentially the list is endless. I'm going to wrap up now and pass over to David, who'll give you some idea of the sort of things that we've been doing. But just before I do, I'd like to show you some of the stencils that have been appearing magically on footpaths in and around Rozelle and Lilyfield. I don't know if you can kind of see this one. I mean, there's this one. And then you've got this one. In fact, we've got about a dozen of them. They're all, the authorship of these attributed to a fellow called Arthur Stokes. Do you remember him? He was famous for this particular bit of graffiti. So Arthur is alive and well again, and is obviously concerned about Westconnex. Thank you.
Hi folks, I'm David Watson. I'm a bit of a new recruit with RAW. I've been involved for 3 months because on the 21st of July, our section of Rozelle down near Iron Cove Bridge learnt via media leak on Channel 9 that 27 premises were going to be demolished. Now this is about 80 metres from our house, and I know we don't want to only concentrate on our own backyards, but I'm explaining why I suddenly started paying attention. And it is a human failing, I think, that you don't pay attention when you're busy until it's on your doorstep. So we've attempted to get over that, and the collaboration across Sydney has been really remarkable over the last months that I've been involved with Pauline, with all of the groups. I think there's 15 groups now across Sydney who are doing good things together. 7 groups are putting on a large public meeting at Balmain Town Hall Thursday night at 6:30. So the collaboration is very, very powerful. So what do? Well, we call a street meeting. We got 50 people to our house, and 98% of the people there were so furious that they voted to oppose Westconnex totally. I think there was one poor bugger that wasn't so certain. Like your area, there are a lot of artists and musicians, people who want to say things visually, orally. We've had a recital which raised $1,000, which is fantastic in our street. We've had a couple of screenings of Ivan Hexter's fantastic documentary, Tunnel Vision. I urge you to do that. We split the proceeds with Ivan, who's still got some money to make up for his copyright payments. Fantastic guy. We Skyped him in Melbourne, and the Skype with him was as memorable as the film. He's a marvellous character. Public meetings, of course. Drill rig protests just beginning over our way. We're probably a year down the track from a lot of the work that's been going on over here, but we've been taking notes and working out our strategies. Leafleting, of course, and fortnightly meetings in our house. So that's been a good thing to do. The Fighting Fund has been very important for us to get our visual materials out, and I thought I'd just show you a couple of instances of the kind of things we've been doing. Harking back to, we were talking about Haberfield. This is a kind of German woodcut style Haberfield reminder that this is on its way to your suburb. So they've been going up around Rozelle and other parts of Sydney. Another one, I noticed you've got one on the wall here, local artists producing these as stickers, and they've been going out all around the inner west, quite popular. In fact, I'll just hand around a smaller version of that for you all to have. You'll see what I hear this. Put it on your shirt. And we even have a logo. So this is based on the constructivist work by Rodchenko back in the 20s, a kind of angry call to arms. A local friend from our street has done the artwork. So again, just the visual side of things we found really helps galvanise the community. And last thing. You won't see this from your seat, but you will see a red line which indicates the area of interest leading down to Iron Cove Bridge here on Iron Cove. So right from the goods yards, right through, taking about 20 streets. Very unclear as to where the tunnel under Rozelle is actually going, and I guess Westconnex likes it just like that. But the downside of that approach is that everybody gets upset because they think it might be coming under their street. So there is a mounting amount of perturbance across the inner west. There's even a tunnel, as we know, planned for after Westconnex, which is going under the Balmain Peninsula. And we like telling people it's probably going to be going beneath Louisa Road, which many of you will know is a movie star haven. Anyhow, a big public meeting in 2 days. We hope that's going to be a huge event. And the energy is palpable, but people are busy, it's Christmas, same old problems. Thank you for listening. And
we have one more speaker left, the fabulous Lorrie who will be talking about her involvement in the Save Newtown from Westconnex campaign, and also having a mental drop in. Wow, yeah, it's been for me a long 2 hours. But what we would like to do, and if people are starting to leave, I mean, if you could just stick around for a little bit longer, because we'd like to take a group photograph and send to Westconnex with the questions tomorrow. So how should we do that?
Lorrie speaks and she can take
Yeah, Lorrie will speak, and then we will ask her to take the picture. So if you can all just stick around for a little bit longer, not just to be in the photo, but because Lorrie has had fantastic experience, and I'm sure that you also, those who don't know about it, will learn something that's really important. Okay.
Hello, fellow Newtowners. I'm just going to tell you that you actually have a group in Newtown, and I'm just going to tell you how we came about and what we've been doing. We personally became aware of Westconnex at the King Street March in February 2015. It became obvious that Newtown would be destroyed at stage 2 and the St Peters interchange would go ahead. With the extra 70,000 cars predicted to hit various main streets, King Street, Euston, Edgware Road, basically Euston becoming a 7-lane highway, and King Street and Edgware Roads extended clearways. 18 months ago we started Save Newtown from Westconnex. So we have these stickers if you want to get some stickers at the end of the meeting. So we campaigned for 12 weeks, and then 15 months ago we had our first community meeting. I'm the co-convener of that group, and my husband Greg Rickerson is also a convener. We're a very solid and very hard-working group, and we've sacrificed many hours attempting to get our community involved. The ethos of this group is to educate and inform our community about the imminent danger that this hideous project will rain down on all of us. We started by asking business owners to put the sticker that is being passed around to you at the moment in their windows. At the moment we've got over 200 businesses with that sticker. This Newtown group has always seen itself as a member of a coalition. Early days we supported St Peters with events, Jurassic Park demo, My Place storytelling and various demos outside the Alexandra landfill. We discovered that Sydney Park was threatened, and we wrapped the trees that would be destroyed with blue ribbons to alert people of their imminent destruction. This has been developed into a Dr. Tree campaign and Welcome Out Camp Save Sydney Park. This group, Save Newtown from Westconnex, has spent over 50 days on the streets, first gathering 7,000 of the 10,000 signatures needed to force a debate about the project in New South Wales Government. We gathered 3,500 environmental impact statement submissions. And during these many days on the street stalls on King Street, we realised the best way to inform our community is to talk. Person to person, show people maps, photographs, and spend the time to explain the ramifications of the interchange and Westconnex. And by community, I don't just mean residents. We have hundreds of businesses that would be destroyed by this project as well. This group has also seized its part of a much larger force against Westconnex. One community group will not stop this monster. We marched against council amalgamations, the protest laws, destruction of big trees nailed at Anzac Parade, and went to community meetings held by No Westconnex, Balmain, Rozelle, Glebe, Annandale, and demonstrated for Haverfield. We also work closely with our local member Jenny Leon, the City of Sydney Council, and the Newtown Business Precinct. who helped us get banners that said, "Stop Westconnex, save Newtown," flying along King Street. And we hope that they will be flying 5 times down King Street next year. If you want to stop this thing, you need to join our group. We stand for everyone in this community. We don't just stand for those personally affected, because we believe this project will destroy the whole community. Residents, businesses, visitors and our neighbours. If you're living in Newtown, join this group to save the place we call home. Please put your details on this yellow form that we handed out when you came in. And even if you live elsewhere, you can still join the group. You can join other groups as mentioned. There will be a Save Newtown meeting held in January in this building, chaired by one of our members from Mobilizing. So I hope as many of you that are in here and want to join a group, join our group and come along and help stop us, stop Westconnex. Thank you.